And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's the 5th of March, 2026. We're on iPhone. And by the way, we're coming up with a new, when I travel, to do better than have the iPhone, but it still comes through. Anyway, I'm up here in New York, rainy, cold, left Florida, which was, I think, 80 degrees today. Yay. Ladies and gentlemen, lots to talk about. Lots of the market to talk about. A lot of moving parts. We have been telling you certain areas look like they are coming to the fore, while other areas getting in trouble. Kind of, sort of, that's what's going on. The big story, though, we'll get into it, is oil prices. But first, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. The markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the Morlocks in D.C., anything that matters. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed, and you should follow us on X. Just put our name in. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. Also, we'll put it up on the YouTube channel of BizTV. And we're in the midst of building the studio. We'll explain in the next week. Boy, it costs a bunch of bucks. I hope you don't mind. Part of what we say at the beginning of the show is the Morlocks in D.C. You should be, and I think you are, I am, sick and tired of the unbelievable amount of corruption in Washington, D.C., in states, in cities. And the reason there is able to be so much is so much freaking money is just out there. Look what's happened in Minnesota. You're seeing it in California. We're seeing it in other areas. I'm happy about something, but I'm also not happy about something. Kristi Noem was fired today, but she has some other job in government. I am happy she was fired. I am pissed off she has another job in government. For the life of me, I don't know the decision making. Let me explain what should not be arguable right now, what this woman did. This is not coming from the Democrats. It's coming from the Republicans. This is not the first time it's happened. It's happened thousands of times. I can't imagine the wealth of some of these politicians. We're hearing about more and more every day. Not only the insider trading, but the self-dealing and the pocketing of bucks. There was a contract for advertising. It's supposed to be a bidding war for the contract. Pretty much, she handed it to a company that incorporated 8 days before. And who was it? People in the campaign. Her campaign. The question was asked. Her main advisor, and there's some rumors about her and her main advisor. I'm not going to touch that. Was he paid by any of this? She wouldn't answer the question. It is not a reach to say she typifies pure and unadulterated corruption and taking advantage of you and I, the taxpayer, to make her and her friends wealthy beyond means, using our tax dollars. I am so depressed that she still has another job in D.C., whatever it's called. It pisses me off to no end. She should not get another tax dollar from us. You can all read about it. It's so depressing. And she's up on Capitol Hill. And you know when you can tell somebody's lying? They avoid answering questions. Or they answer your question with a question. Or they argue the question that you're attacking them. It's simple. and she was caught. I believe she should be indicted, and whatever else happens. This is not unlike what happened with Biden handing out billions of dollars in his last weeks to what's-her-face from Georgia. She set up with her friends, a climate change company out of thin air and got a $2 billion grant that never has to be paid back. Guess what? She never got the money. Or if she did, it was taken away. This has to stop. This has to stop. It has to stop. I forgot her name. In the break, I'll come up with it. Tim Walz, the head of the governor of Minnesota, we find out autism, got $1 million in his first year or as far as government money. 5 years later, $350 million, and it was all frickin' fraud, or at least most of it. So I just wanted to start with that. It's so depressing. Oil prices skyrocketed again. The Dow at one time was down 1,100, finished down 800. As I do my scans, just a lot of bad action. I've already been asked a couple of times, well, what if? Well, ifs and buts, as they say. What if oil prices drop $10 overnight? I gather we'll gap up 1,000 points. That would be a guess. But will that get us moving? Don't think so. Do I think oil prices will gap down $10 overnight? I don't know. All I know is this war is still going on. It is kind of accelerating. There was a story out today about no chance, this is only 4 weeks, it may last into September. We don't pay that much attention to that crap, but we do put it in the file manager. And I wish I had better news for you today. As I'm going through my scans, a lot of technical damage done, a lot of breaks of the 50-day moving average, a lot of strong names coming in. Our job now is to measure relative strength on a daily basis, what's hanging, what's holding, what's not. And it's not easy because lots of moving parts. I can tell you, had a good day yesterday. Not today. That said, some good areas sticking out by the close today. Some good action by the close today. With a proviso. The good action is in the worst of areas. And guess which area it is? The area we told you that it looked like it was starting to get some good relative strength, namely software. Amazingly, with the Dow down 800, the IGV software is up more than 2%. Microsoft up 5%, Salesforce up 8%, Oracle up 2%, SAP up 4%, Adobe up 8%. Will that last? 4 words. I do not know. Are they leading? Right now they are. How are their chart patterns? Recovering. Recovering from where? Brutal bear market drops. Do I think it can last? 4 words. I do not know. All I can tell you is the worst names are better. In the last few days, we were telling you that something was up, better. That's what occurred. Why did they drop in the first place? Well, a lot of them topped out a year ago. But in the recent past, there's been worried about debt, leverage, artificial intelligence taking over. Is maybe, possibly, could be, that's off the table? 4 words. I do not know. Up next, we'll expound, because a couple of other things happened to the good side. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. By the way, the woman was Stacey Abrams. And amazingly, she gets put on TV and interviewed. I'd say it to her face. You and your buddies created, out of thin air, a climate NGO, non-government organization, and you actually took $2 billion of our tax dollars, even though you have no background, to do what? And she's still on TV. So here you have Kristi Noem and that Corey Lewandowski guy. I am so hoping the Justice Department gets it neck deep. I want to find out what the hell's going on and where's that money and how much did they take of that money. It was like $200 million being reported. Aren't you pissed? You have to be. You have to be pissed. Let's move on. So the software. I gave you a lot of I do not knows. Because I just scanned and scanned and scanned and scanned. And on the software side, all I found was recoveries from bear markets. And you're always hopeful it's going to last. And you think to yourself, well, if this was just about AI and they're not going to be damaged by AI, maybe the worst could be over. Hey, I'm all for it. But I would rather see leading stocks doing well. Leading stocks. Not the laggards. But I'm open to the news-driven thing. That it's so news-driven, maybe they could come back well. Again, I do not know. But speaking of artificial intelligence, I was told, and I'm just going by what I was told, the Booking Holdings, the Expedias, they were trashed also. And I was told that had to do with artificial intelligence. Well, guess what? Today, Expedia, up 12 to 13%. Booking Holdings up about 8%. Along with the software. So if all these areas were hurt by AI, but together they are repairing, maybe something's up. 4 words. I do not know. I would suggest to you also, IBM is pretty much AI now. That bounced $6 today. But I do not know. We'll stay on top of it. We're in interesting times. That's all I can tell you. What I do know, as I scan, a lot of ew, a lot of ugh. Ew is spelled E-W. Ugh is spelled U-G-H. So, the thought process, I gotta keep, the semiconductors look like they were getting busted today. And for sure, a few names have broken down. But when all was said and done at the end of the day, semiconductors finished right on the 50-day moving average. Nvidia, that was starting to get hammered today, was down 4. Finished up. The SOX was down 92. I believe at one time today it was down 200. And you ready for this? With the Dow down almost 800 points, the NASDAQ was only down 58. The reason being, it's simple. Adobe up 8. Broadcom up 15. That's a top 10 name. That was on earnings, which were pretty good. Amazon up 2. That was another one we told you yesterday that looked like it was trying to turn. Microsoft up 5. Netflix still getting a little bit of a bid off of they're not buying that company. So all helpful. And then the semis coming back pretty darn well. I'm almost winded. It's almost exhausting. But I love this game. We've been playing it very close to the vest. And let me tell you, I'm so darn glad we've been playing it close to the vest, I can't begin to tell you. Because on individual stock basis, whew, spell that W-H-E-W. And as I am talking to you now, I am continuing to scan lower volume names. It's icky out there. As always, if anything changes, we'll let you know. But near term, you know where the bid is. Foreign markets, roughed up. Don't know what happens there, except they are less liquid. And when things get in trouble, they go down a lot quicker than we do. So a lot of moving parts. But it really does all come down to a few things. Have you been to the gas station? That would be number one. Have you been to the gas station? Go search the words. Every 10-cent move in gas prices is equal to. Up next, lots more. We'll think it over. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. If we sound a little different, we're on the iPhone. So it may be a little bit sorry, you know, we know we still come in pretty good. You'll have to forgive us. I want to thank whoever emailed me saying, hey, Gary, don't do a show with a Ricola in your mouth. They're right. I listen back and I can hear it. So there'll be no more lozenges in the mouth. I will tell you that. New York City. So there's been all this whining and complaining, including from me, about the new mayor and what's going to happen to New York City. Well, as you know, there's not much we like about the gentleman. We do wish him well. We want his success. Not his kind of success. High taxes, more regulations, less jails. But we want a great city. We're just letting you know, as I mosey around. The city's still the city. It's still hustling and bustling. Did a little TV at Fox News today, Fox Business. And what I do is I take the train. It was raining, so a little stupid on my way. Take the train, takes me to 51st Street. I walk to 48th, 3 blocks, cross over from Lexington Avenue to 6th Avenue, and I'm at Fox. And I'm walking around. I pass 5th Avenue, and it was pretty good, even in the rain. Rockefeller Center, pretty darn good. 6th Avenue, pretty darn good. I think things are rolling pretty darn well. And let's hope he doesn't screw it up. I've always said of people like Gavin Newsom and some of these other lefties who love tinkering and playing and raising taxes, do these people realize they just don't have to do much? That's why with the president, with these tariffs, I wish he would listen to me. He doesn't have to do that. Why even thinking of doing that? Why upset the apple cart? Why put uncertainty in the system? Why put a tax hike into the system? But even if I had the president's ear, he wouldn't listen to me. Even though I've got game. What can I tell you? Anyway, so New York City, I think, is fine. Let's hope it stays fine. I think all he can do is screw things up if he goes too far. Just letting you know. Airports. Well, I flew on a Wednesday night, so definitely not as busy. But I was speaking to and my plane was full, but I'm going back Saturday afternoon and my plane's empty. And I speak to the airport. By the way, this is some of the things I do. I speak to the airport people, tell me about what's happening. It's a little on the slow side. And speaking of slow, man, Middle East. I think I'm right. I think Iran knows what the outcome's going to be, and I think they said, screw it. They're bombing the United Arab Emirates, Dubai. They're insane. They're sending missiles over to Turkey, who's been their friend and who's a part of NATO. Saudis, Bahrain, you name it. So I got to tell you, I think they're just saying, screw it. We know what the outcome's going to be, so screw it. Now, I told you I'm watching the trend. I don't keep a chart, but I watch the trend. The trend of crap coming out of Iran has been going down. The ability to fire off. The president said he thinks that they're toast, that they have less and less. I'm not so sure of that. We'll keep you informed on that. Because the key is, the quicker they're out of ammo, the faster this thing's over. I'm sure you're reading about how we are taking out $30,000 drones with missiles or bombs that cost millions. That's true. But guess what? That's going to all change as we move forward. War sucks. Let's hope sooner rather than later. It really is depressing, ladies and gentlemen. I hate seeing it. Tomorrow, I have no clue what happens tomorrow. Maybe we bounce. Maybe we gap down again. The bigger story, just for today, bad Dow, very bad broad market, amazing comeback by the semis to close at the 50-day moving average, and software leading, especially big software. But to repeat, I've already scanned through. It's all recoveries, and they're going to meet up with a lot of resistance real soon. A hell of a lot of resistance. I watched somebody say, oh, it's March. We're definitely going to rally. Be careful. Be careful. There are no definites. I can promise you that. I've been getting a lot of questions about certain names. And when I get a lot of questions about the same name, it usually means people own a bunch. The one I get most is Bitcoin. As we stated, it's trying to turn up from a low. It did this back in January and then was aborted a few days later and had another big leg down. We'll keep you informed. It remains in an overall bear market. And when I say overall, bigger picture, shorter term, getting a little bit of juice. It was down today. I don't look at that as a big deal because I had a good day yesterday. But to be clear, certainly not any big bull market here, just trying to recover. The number two we get asked about is NVIDIA. And I just got to tell you again, it has been mostly range-bound between 170 and 195, with one visit up to 212, and quickly down since mid-July. And I keep getting asked, how can that be? Their earnings are getting better, their sales are getting better, and my answer to that is, you're right. We'll watch the stock. A break below 170, uh-oh. And by the way, I'm actually adjusting that. You don't want to see a break below 176. That's the 200-day moving average. So if you've owned it long term, I think it's a hold. If you're looking to buy, I wouldn't add right now. Am I surprised? On one end, yes, because they're really good numbers. On the other end, I know what potentially comes down the pike and how the market discounts it. A lot of competition and a lot of debt outstanding on this whole AI chip thing. Up next, what other questions were being asked? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So in almost order, I continue to be asked about CoreWeave, even though it's gone from 187 to 75. I'll just repeat what I've been telling you. This last quarter that they reported was their worst quarter of losses since going public. And the amount of debt is at its highest. That's a 1-2 punch. And of course, then the questioning of it. And if you have a chance, all you got to do these days is search, what are the worrisome questions about CoreWeave? It all comes up. The next biggest is the gold and silver. Well, silver is much more simple. That really looked climactic, big time, that move. And we told you, oh, it's going to be a while before it has any chance to get to those highs and break them. What you have to understand is the SLV went from 110 down to $69 in a day, off of a monster move before that. That is an exhaustion climactic top. And typically it takes a very long while, if ever. And we're not saying it's not. We're just saying a long while. And what do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks now. And all it's been able to do is, it's $74, the SLV, down from 110. And much weaker than the gold. I would suggest to you gold a little bit different in it has fared much better off the highs, but still can't get through. So I think that also is going to be a while. Gold miners went to the highs 3 days ago, but gapped down badly on Tuesday and had another little gap today down to the 50-day moving average. Not great, but okay there. Reasons? That's a song by Earth, Wind, and Fire. By the way, one of my favorite songs. And by the way, the first concert I ever went to, Earth, Wind, and Fire at the Hollywood Sportatorium. We used to call it the Barn, Hollywood, Florida. It was in the middle of nowhere. They built this thing. It was like a big barn. I remember they came out of the ceiling in these little spaceship pods. By the way, they're still playing. Anyway, reasons. The dollar's been stronger. When there is strife and there's war, dollar usually does better. The next question I'm getting asked now is, what about how well we're doing taking out all this Iranian stuff? Terrific. Let's hope it continues. I see the president live right now speaking, and I believe it says at the bottom, took out 24 ships. By the way, I don't know if you saw it. A submarine torpedo took out one of their ships, and I heard that's the first time in decades. They showed the video. It's like a movie. But I'm always... So the president's talking big, talking great, everything's wonderful. As you know, and look, we take no joy, but there's a lot of embellishment there on everything. But we're backing him 1,000%. He is the leader of this country, the head of the military, and I'm just praying he gets it right. No more soldiers die, and go from there. But I think that end is going well. And I'm in hopes we wake up one morning and it ceases. But I am no General Patton or Norman Schwarzkopf, so we won't argue any of the points about what they're doing, ever. Hope for the best. And for the Iranian people, I know quite a few Iranians that are so happy with this president for what he's doing. Quite a few. Fingers crossed. Because it's not a great place to be Iranian. They suck, the government there. They're terrible. There are many people that are against what they're doing. The Democrats in D.C. are up in arms. But we don't give a crap what they have to say. Those are the same people that on purpose let in 10, 15, 20 million into our country from the southern border, with many not vetted. I will never forgive Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and that party for doing that. I love immigrants. Come one, come all. But not like that. Unforgivable. We love what the president did with the border, shutting it. That's security. That saves lives. No more people are drowning in the rivers, in the back of trucks that go to 150 degrees. Children were going missing. The media never reported it because they suck too. We're thrilled with that. Do you know there's some politicians in the Dem Party running right now that say if they win, they want to open the border? What do you think we think of that? Anyway, till tomorrow, have a great evening, drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better, you'll feel better. I promise. Stay well, be well. Appreciate your time. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.